subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
All right, what's going on now? What's happening? It is up. It is up. It is up. Round of applause to you. Ready to get into that tap in. Glad to have everybody in here, man. What's going on, family? Hope everybody is good. Hope you guys are having a good week and you're going to have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Let me have everybody give me a retweet. That would be great. If you can give me a retweet, that would be absolutely phenomenal. And before we do anything, I got to do a couple of things. Number one, I got to shout you guys out. Let me shout out some of those regulars. I got to do that. We got the lovely Carmen. I see Zuri. We have Peace and Peace. King Troy, Isada, JMT, Fua. We have Mafu. We have Leda. We have Sweets, Rhonda. We have Miss Skyline. We have Michi God Highland. We have the Black Receipts, Sir Mike. We have Grinds TV, Rashonda, Empress, Nikki the God, and the Tethernator. Shout out to all you guys. Much respect to you, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Round of applause. You know, one thing I got to do something else. While you guys are retweeting, y'all remember the other day I had a debate with a suspected white supremacist, and I think he pretty much confirmed he was a white supremacist, didn't he? He was the guy, the Jake Lang guy. I debated him, and that's a very good debate. Y'all can watch that on my YouTube channel. But he did something when he was getting off of the phone. When he was getting off the phone, he did like a prayer. And somebody reminded me, they were like, hey man, you don't never let the devil pray over you now. The devil pray over you, that's a curse. And that made a lot of sense. I should have rebuked his prayer for the family. Let me do that. Let me officially rebuke Jake Lang's prayer. He gave a prayer. I just want us to be all, let me give a prayer. I pray that we all get together, and I pray that we do. It was like, no, I read for the family, and I should have rejected it then. I kind of joked about him praying, but that's some serious stuff. And I'm glad this sister kind of pulled my coat to that. You don't let devils, and I mean people with a demonic spirit, and white supremacists, they have a very demonic spirit. And even if they try to smile, we have to rebuke their prayers. If they try to pray over us, if somebody evils pray over you, according to our legend as Foundation of Black Americans, that's a curse. Yeah. So we got to watch these white supremacists who come in trying to act like they're extending an olive branch, just like the movie Sinners. Again, let's go back to Sinners. I love the symbolisms in that movie because we can keep going back and drawing from the symbolisms of that movie. The Irish vampires came in trying to be buddies. Hey man, we're all in this together. Just let me in, and we can just be one big old happy family. And I remember the vampire was quoting Bible verses. Remember in the movie, the white vampire was talking to Sammy while quoting Bible verses. So we got to watch when a devil or a demonic spirit tries to pray over you. We got to watch that. And I should have been on that then, but I'm officially rebuking that now. for us and everybody in the room who was around when that white supremacist gave us a prayer. And let me counter that. Let me give them a jar of prayer so I can clear the room. Let me do that. Let me do the Majara prayer so we can cleanse the room. Because remember, in the movie, going back to Sinners, in the movie Sinners, they had the mojo bag. That's basically the Majara bag, and they had the mojo bag, and they couldn't turn you into a vampire if you had the mojo bag. So our foundational Black American energy is a cleansing energy. We're gonna get into that today. We're gonna get into that. But let me do the Majara prayer real quick because I need to cleanse the room. I need to rebuke any evil spirits, any evil energy from white supremacists and tethers. Most High, Creator of all, we honor the Majara spirit within us. Ancestral power flows through our veins, guiding us with wisdom and strength. May we walk with the grace of our ancestors, those who have come before us, and honor their sacrifices. Let the energy of Majara protect us from harm, uplift our spirits, and guide us towards our true purpose. With every step, may we embrace the sacred power within, the spirit that has carried us through trials and tribulations. We ask for clarity, strength, and peace as we live with purpose rooted in our divine heritage. Through the Majara spirit, we are connected, we are whole, we are powerful, and amen. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to everybody in here. Shout out to Wani. I see you, beloved. Shout out to Wani. And by the way, if you guys want a real good breakdown of the movie Sinners, check out the great Baba Dr. Kaba Kamene. I saw an interview he recently did, and he's in the new movie that we're doing, by the way, too. Always got to have Dr. Kaba. Dr. Kaba did a phenomenal breakdown of the movie Sinners. He got into he broke it down scientifically, damn near. Oh, he started getting into how blood in many societies, blood carries your soul. Your soul is in your blood, and that's why the vampires need your blood for your soul, and they need to go to the jugular vein in your neck. He was breaking this shit down just real deep, deep. Yeah, Dr. Kaba, he breaks it down on a whole different level. So if you guys can find that interview on YouTube, that'll be great. But speaking of our Majara spirit, that's what I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about our Majara spirit, our Majara energy, um, our ancestral energy. Have y'all seen what's going on down in Louisiana? It was a couple of things that happened in Louisiana this week, or today, or yesterday, whenever you're listening to it. Down in Louisiana, there was a couple of things. There was a prison break. Some brothers broke out of prison out there. They moved the toilet back, and it was like 10 or 11 brothers, and they got out of the prison out there. And where's this place? It's like an hour outside of New Orleans. And is it? No, no, I don't think it's an hour. No, no, no. No. I think the prison is in New Orleans. I don't know the exact area. I don't know the exact area, but I think the prison is in New Orleans. My bad. I think it's it might be downtown. I'm not sure where the prison is, but the brothers broke out because, from what I understand, one of them, they caught like three of them. One of them was in the French quarters, I think, but it's still about 7, 8 of them on the loose. And at the same time, what happened today also, or yesterday, whenever you're listening, about an hour outside of New Orleans, there was a large plantation that mysteriously caught on fire and burned down. The Nottoway Plantation. That's the largest remaining antebellum plantation, I think, in the country. And it was destroyed by a mysterious fire. Nobody knows how that fire got popping. Have y'all know? I talked about this before. In places like South Carolina and other places, these former slave plantations, they mysteriously catch on fire. I know it was one situation out there in South Carolina where lightning struck a tree and the tree caught on fire, and then the plantation caught on fire. This was a few years ago. That ain't nothing but ancestral energy. And look, in New Orleans, there's a lot of energy in New Orleans, I'm telling you, and I've been feeling that energy. That's why I've been going down there a lot. Yeah, New Orleans has been talking to me. The ancestors in New Orleans, they have been talking to me heavy. That's why I've been down there. Y'all seen I've been on my New Orleans kick for a minute. The ancestors are really, really speaking out in Louisiana in general. Um, and there's a reason for that because there's a shift going on. There's a spiritual shift that's happening. The ancestors want justice. We are honoring those ancestors, and those ancestors are honoring us. It's very important for us to acknowledge them ancestors, ladies and gentlemen. It's very important to energize their spirit. We energize their spirit by giving acknowledgement to it, because that's paying honor to it. There's the spiritual realm. They want you, they if you pay homage to it, that energy will still be alive. If you neglect it, that energy will dissipate. So it's very important that we honor that energy. Energy, good or bad, you have to feed it. The white supremacists understand that. They feed their evil demonic energy all the time. They're always feeding their evil energy. All of their degenerate forefathers and ancestors, they're always propping them up and praising them. You go around the country, there's statues of their degenerate white supremacist Confederate forefathers. Yeah, they keep that demonic energy up. That's why there's so much chaos. They keep that energy up. We have to keep the energy of our righteous ancestors up, because those ancestors, that energy, they will get the vengeance they need to get. And places like South Carolina, places like Louisiana, the ancestral energy is very heavy there for a few reasons. Number one, the slavery was very brutal in those areas. Number two, there are a lot of trees and water out there. There's swamps and water. Whenever there's water, there's going to be a lot of strong ancestral energy. You mix up plantation, slavery, water, you're going to get some of that ancestral energy that's very powerful. That's why what we saw down there in Montgomery, Alabama, the fade in the water, that area where that ferry boat was, that was an area where they would bring in our enslaved ancestors. So our ancestral energy is all in that water over there. So when them white supremacists popped off, them brothers start popping up out the water, whooping down on them. That was ancestral energy. But look at Louisiana. Look at Louisiana. Louisiana, and that's why that's one of my favorite cities. I love that rebellious, fighting, relentless spirit down there. It's still there. That spirit of resistance is very heavy there. Now I'm always drawn to that. And that the spirit of the Maroons never died out there. See, Louisiana, they got a long history of escaped people forming hidden communities in those swamps and in those bayous. See, these people, they waged guerrilla warfare against these slave owners. And that plantation burning today, and at the same time these brothers getting out of the prisons, that was very heavy. That was a metaphysical thing right there. That was some maroon energy to a certain degree, because prisons and plantations, they're extensions of the same system. Huh? The simultaneous destruction of that slave era plantation and a prison escape. See, that's a symbol of ancestral rejection, yeah, of the old system, and the new system of bondage. And in many ways, man, these prisons, they replace the plantations. So this is too spiritual to be a coincidence. Look, remember, they got They would bring in enslaved people from Angola. They had the Angola plantation, then they had Angola prison. They got Angola prison out there. Yeah. So the prison system basically replaced the plantation system. They keep the plantations there for tourist attractions. They make money off those plantations, and those the enslaved ancestors, they never received justice. I saw speaking of that plantation that burned down, I saw a post by somebody who said they went on a tour there. And what did they say? They had some Sambo as the tour guide, according to this person on Twitter. They said, yeah, we went to that plantation. And first thing they told us, they were like, yeah, slavery happened. And I'm black and I'm the tour guide. And, ain't no need for us to get mad about it now. So they said, this is the tour guide, a black tour guide they had, like Sambo splaining about the slavery. Like, yeah, it happened, but we ain't tripping no more. And this person said they never ever talked about slavery on the whole tour. That was the only time they mentioned slavery, at the very beginning. And then other than that, they didn't talk about it. So yeah, there was still injustice going on that plantation even today. That's disrespectful to them ancestors to have some Sambo up there doing that. That's very disrespectful to the legacy of those people who suffered and built that place. Yeah. But we got to understand ancestral fires, that's a purification process. See, fire has always been a spiritual cleanser in hoodoo and other spiritual systems that we've had in the South. The plantation burning, that's ancestral fire energy purging that site of historic trauma. Yeah. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. These plantations just happen to catch on fire. And these are big money makers. These plantations make a lot of money. And people go down there really from the dominant society. They go down there. They don't have respect for the ancestry. They like the aesthetics of those plantations because it looks like the old South. So they go down there having weddings and parties and all of that. And listen, Louisiana, that's a sacred ground for Black resistance, man. You have the German Coast Uprising, um, a lot of stuff going on down there. That's a holy ground for rebellion and a lot of spiritual rebellions down there, too, with the hoodoo queen, Marie Laveau, who was putting roots on people out there who crossed her, Julia Brown out there who was in Frenier, Louisiana, which is now a ghost town because she put a hex on the town and said when she dies, she's going to take the whole city with her, the whole town with her. And it was a very small village. When I say town, it's like a little small area. But when she died, a huge hurricane hit and wiped the whole thing out like she said it would. And they were too scared to rebuild it. I'm telling you, the energy there is very, very real. The bayous down there, they hold secrets, they hold spirits. Those swamp lands out there, people always talk about that mysterious energy. When I was down there recently, we were going through them swamps. I always take a swamp tour. I like to feel that energy. I like to pay homage to those people who lived in those swamps. All those trees. When you go down there, you can feel the energy and the trees and the plants and the bushes. You can feel that ancestral spiritual energy down there. Yeah, bodies of water. That those are spiritual portals. I want y'all to understand that. And this is a vengeance era. The ancestors ain't playing. Family over in Atlanta. Speaking of water, there's another white man got gobbled up by Lake Lanier. Look, white man's out there kayaking. Them ancestors got him. This happened yesterday. Another white man out there messing around with Lake Lanier. Yeah, them ancestors who's under that water, they're not playing. This is science we're talking. Water holds energy. Water holds memory. Your spirit is energy. Your spirit is measurable energy. And water holds energy. And that energy has a consciousness. That's why trees have consciousness, man. Have y'all seen some of these videos of people talking to trees and talking to plants, and the plants will kind of ease over and touch them? These plants and all they this is what we knew in hoodoo. This is what we knew in conjure. We knew that these plants and these other living beings, they had a consciousness. They react to positive energy, they react to negative energy. Anybody who has grown plants will tell you that's why they talk to their plants. If you are nice and loving to your plants will grow up to be beautiful and they will flourish. If you are mean, if there's mean energy in that house, if there's a demonic energy, a demonic spirit, those plants will wither and die. Anybody who has dealt with plants will tell you this. This is why our great brother George Washington Carver, he understood plants. That's why he would tell people I could talk to the plants, not with verbally, but just spiritually. He knew what the plants needed and the plants would talk back to him. He knew how to tap in. That was conjure. That's root work. That was root work, ladies and gentlemen. But justice unserved, it breeds a spiritual reckoning. See, the universe is just. You're going to pay sooner or later. If you do some egregious, spiritually demonic nonsense, the universe is going to correct that. And many of these plantations in Louisiana, they profited off Black death and they never faced accountability. They never faced it. And they think, okay, yeah, we're going to still make money off the tourism and everything is going to be all hunky dory. And then the ancestor said, nope, I'm going to light this fire on that ass and we're going to serve justice that way. Yeah. And the thing about Louisiana, their spiritual traditions, it keeps the ancestors awake down there. Um, that's what I love about Louisiana, New Orleans. Their connections to the ancestors, it's never been severed. Through hoodoo, through those funeral rituals, the dead they're kept alive in memory and in practice. That's why they have that second line every weekend. They celebrate um, the passing of somebody. They celebrate their life throughout the city. They have that second line. And then they have the Mardi Gras festivals where they're giving homage and paying homage to the ancestors, paying homage to the Black Mardi Gras Indians, just paying homage. They know how to pay homage. Yeah. And that keeps that energy alive. That's why so many people are gravitated towards New Orleans, that strong spiritual energy down there. And this is the heavy thing. Listen, symbolism, it always precedes revolution, family. See, in spiritual warfare, signs come before a major shift. And we're facing, there's going to be a major shift going on right now. And this plantation burning down and inmates escaping simultaneously. See, this is like a clue to a larger awakening that's popping off. That's a signal that a new cycle of resistance, both spiritual and material, it's on the rise. So yeah, I don't think none of this stuff is a coincidence. So shout out to New Orleans, shout out to Louisiana, shout out to the family down there. If you ever get a chance, go visit. Go visit down there. The ancestors want y'all to go down there. They want us to go down there and show them love. They want us to go down there and pay homage to them. And I try to go down there as much as I can. It's a spiritual cleansing when you go down there and connect with those ancestors. It's heavy I took my mother and them to the plantations. It was real heavy on them. Like when you first go down there and hit them plantations, it's heavy on you. It's one thing to see stuff in movies, but to go and you're around them trees, for them trees to get to talking to your ass. I'm telling with me, you feel it. You really feel it. You go in those cabins and those slave quarters where they slept and where they ate. That energy is all up in there. You feeling that. That's why, again, whenever they do those movies, those actors go down to these plantations and start freaking out. Sometimes that ancestral energy is just way too much. I'm kind of used to it because I receive it. I'm looking for it and I'm building off of it. So yeah, I receive it. I want as much as that in it, much of that energy as I can get. I use that as a spiritual cleansing for me. That's why I always step up for our ancestry and our lineage. That's why I'm very, very adamant about that, taking up for our lineage and our folks, because we've been neglecting our people, we've been neglecting our ancestry, we've been sitting up here giving props to ancient African ancestry, skipping over all of these phenomenal people, just like our brother Ryan Coogler said. He said he almost felt guilty that he was out there, I think he was looking at a cotton field or something like that in the South, and he realized, hey, we got these ancestors right here that we can't ignore. These phenomenal people, which is absolutely true.
Tonight, root work tonight, root work tonight, root work tonight. I'll be feeling so right. I got that root work tonight. Feeling fresh from the morning light. Root work hit me, I'm set for the night. Look good, smell right. Yeah, I'm that type. I gotta let the world know I got that root work tonight. Root work tonight. Yeah, root work tonight. I'll be feeling so right. I got that root work.